All right, here we are. Now we're live. We
Hey,
got that working.
hello, hello.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Oh, and the stream bot's going, huh? Or the
yeah.
chat bot, rather.
Yes, have that happening. Ooh,
Definitely have to a little emote up there just to get that rolled. Oh yeah.
that is pretty good. I'm glad we did that. If you
Yeah,
need
right.
to do some other stuff, I've been doing a lot of research on Phaser 3 and like how to do some of the tweening and being able to kind of create more animation. So like we were talking about wanting to have that rocket, right? So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get to that point. Kind of do like a little rocket with an explosion type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. But
yeah, it's coming along.
yeah,
It's a lot.
that's for Friday, I guess, right?
Yeah, we were getting back into potato chip miner.
Mm-hmm.
We so last week we basically finished out the game items database. Um, so really, ultimately, it basically meant that we went through in all the spots where we had hard coded in information about game items.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we've eliminated. You know, I was doing fine almost all day. No
Can't,
yawning.
can't blame that one on me either. It's usually I get you going.
Yeah. Once I start too, that's the worst part.
Uh, Hang in there, man. It's just a 2 hour stream. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yes. I was trying to get to the store factory here because I just wanted to. Where are you? Store. That's store commands. Oh, it's because it's called Miner Store. So I was
yeah,
like,
that's right.
it was getting me mixed up on like what I was looking for. Right. So what we did is we ended up putting these in here. Right. These are what we've added in the last. About to say the last sprint. Doing so much sprint planning today at the office that it was just like it's now burned into my head. It's like, so, uh, yeah,
Sort of a sprint.
kind of, right? It's like we did our final commit, so so I think what we really want to be able to do is we want to bring this um, into the
To the database.
database.
Right. Now that the items buying is what you can sell to the store, correct? So that's like the price that they're paying for chips or what I think chips is the only thing in there now, but
Right. Well, I mean, because technically we would want to be able to allow them to really sell anything, or have the thing be able to buy back lots of different stuff potentially.
potentially, yeah. But it's a different list than the items for sale.
Yeah.
Right? That's the point. Is this has like a price that they're paying, whereas the items for sale has a price but also had like an inventory element, which we don't have to worry about here. So okay.
Yeah. Would I was trying to think if there's a situation where we want to be able to allow them to. Should items for sale and items buying be two separate lists?
Well, obviously that's what I thought when I imagined like the first iteration of it, because that's kind of how they are. It
Yeah.
doesn't really need to be, or they could be like it could be like an opportunity for inheritance there, you know what I mean, where there's kind of like different versions of the same root. I don't know. No,
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be that way. Um,
I'm not. I'm not. So here's kind of what I was thinking: is that you could have items with a selling at and buying at, right? So they might be selling at a price, but they're not buying it. So they're buying it at zero, right? Because they're not gonna pay anything for it. So you just have items.
yeah, but then they would all show, right?
Well, we don't have to.
Okay.
No, you're breaking up a little bit on me there when you were just talking. I
Oh,
don't think it was, and it wasn't like you were talking loud into the microphone. It was just clipping.
sometimes I have to actually turn the stream off, but I like to have it on so I can see the chat.
Yeah,
Sometimes
there's got to be a
it's
way to
consistent.
have just the chat up.
right? Like without the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so I'm not sure on that. That's why we wouldn't have to, because if it's buying at 0, it just wouldn't show up as something. And
that's true.
if they're selling it at 0, then we wouldn't show it
Filter.
either.
Yeah, we just like filter it out.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the right answer. I feel like I'm not positive that I'm trying to merge two items that shouldn't be together, right? Because that's always the trick with that is, like, are we putting something together that really isn't the same?
Yeah, well, the reason I guess I separated them, I'm trying to like, go back in time here and think about it. So I think the reason that I separated them was because the items buying is a simpler concept. There's no like restocking. There's no like, it's just a price and an ID, right?
Yeah, you're really clipping. That's weird.
Hmm.
Try ending the stream just to see if it makes a difference for a bit. I'm doubtful that it's a connectivity, like a bandwidth issue, but
All right, so I stopped the stream.
okay.
So we'll see how we're doing there, but I can't see the chat. So that.
Yeah, well, there is that part. Well, let's just see if I just want to see if it makes a difference, and if it doesn't, then obviously jump back on.
Okay.
So you were saying it was simpler because you just didn't have to worry about like stock and how you got stuff.
Yeah, it's just a price. It wasn't really like an item slot, you know what I mean? It was just an ID and a price. So I think that's why I was thinking of them as like two separate sort of things. And remember, everything was sort of hard coded in too at that point, so it made even more sense in that paradigm.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking that there might be an opportunity that we could have almost have a market if we have stuff that you can have a buyback rate, right? So if you had so let's say diggers, like a standard digger, what if they were able to buy them back? What if we could do something where you could sell them back to the store because they're low on the numbers? As a single player game, it doesn't make so much sense because there's no other people that are selling stuff to it.
I've played games with economies like back in the old like Sega Genesis days and Nintendo days. That one, it was still pretty fun.
Yeah, I do. I remember that being there, but it's like it feels weird, right? Because you'd have to have some way of stuff disappearing and having it generate, some value.
Right. Yeah. Well, because we were talking about too, just having different. Yeah. Because there's elements of a market already. Like you kind of need to get like money and things out of the game already. Like, or else what's the point?
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the other thing is too here is that right now we have this chips up here. We're kind of like stuck in. We're not stuck, but we have like one set of like things that you can collect, and as we want to expand that, I think it's going to get trickier.
Yeah. Well, let's hang on a second too. So if we go back to because chips is the raw. That's like your money, right? Like I guess
Chips
it should
are,
be token. It should be tokens that's listed up there. I guess. Like,
yeah, tokens are your money.
Yeah.
Chips are kind of like what you're getting out of the. And maybe this will be fine because it depends on how many things we have that we might have to change how this works up here. And I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's true. It depends. Like if we only add 2 or 3 more things, you could probably still accommodate it. But anyway. Back to the store items though. So I'm thinking about it, right? And the concept of having more than one store we've talked about a few different times. So. Well, really, the price would be something that would be per store, but the item could be kind of like the universal item. Like, you know what I mean? There's only so many items like in the game, so to speak. So the store has these items and it's buying these items. You know what I mean? So you could have different, like, like traders maybe that come in and would pay a premium price on something.
Yeah.
So they definitely are related. In the game part, I don't know if I would want to have like one list and then we toggle or not. Because that's what you're talking about, sort of, right?
Well, I'm just saying that an item is going to have a purchase price and a sale price. That's all I'm getting at, right? Because you could do that. I mean, if I think about all other games, like you'll buy it from a store because the store is going to sell it at 1 gold, but then when you go to sell it back, you're actually going to only be able to sell it at 50 silver, right?
Hmm.
Because that's just how it is able to eliminate stuff from the game.
Right.
Um, so I don't know whether I don't know if that's a necessity for us and whether we need to plan for it ahead of time.
Hmm.
Um, so I think we could kind of keep it to the way that we're doing it. It's just going to be. I was just thinking about it when I was looking at it, going, feels like we should be able to have something that is going to be like that. But if we're not going to be selling back diggers, we're not going to be selling back large hoppers, we're not going to be selling back like components, then I don't think it matters, right? If all we're going to be selling are
Yeah, the products of your digging.
right, the products of the digging, and then that's going to give you more tokens, which then allows you to buy more of the other things that you need.
Right. Right. You may be able to sort of like craft a digger at some point, depending on how we build out the game, but I still don't know that we need to do that as like a buyback situation. Still might be something that you would just kind of use.
Right. Right.
So,
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why I was like, I'm not sure. Not sure that we have to um, fully prepare for it.
hmm.
Um, I just thought at this point, if we're going to start creating the database for the store, we were going to have that in there, right? So that's why I thought that's what made me think of it. It's like, gosh, we have it as we're going to instead. What we're going to have is we're going to have a field that tells you whether the item is for sale or whether it's an item that it's buying. Um, and so as long as those never that they never meet, then we should be okay, right? Where the
Now,
items that we're buying and selling are the same items.
yeah. See, so would there be crossover items? Because like it makes me wonder, like something. Well, even if there was, I mean, even if we shared an ID, but we defined them different once we loaded them into the game, so they did live in the same database, so they had like an ID. But
Mm-hmm.
then when we instanced up the store, we created like the buying list, and that didn't have the fully, you know, what I mean, that had what it needed to work with.
Right. I mean, as long as we're not going to buy back and it goes into the inventory,
Right.
right? Because the item, if it goes back into the inventory that's of the item that you're selling back to them, then we would want to make sure that we're keeping track of that in the same, like, there's a term for it in accounting, and I can't think of what it is, but the fact that we would want to be able to say, okay, here we're buying back these items, and this is inventory is going to go up for that item then at the store.
Right, right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whereas when we buy it now, we essentially just destroy it.
Yeah,
We trade in money for it, and then we just destroy it in the game. It
yeah,
doesn't go anywhere. I see what you're saying. Like, whereas you would want to have, like, if it was a market, it would be a cyclical. It would be a market, so you would
right.
add items to the store. Okay, okay. Yeah, I don't know that we need to tackle that then.
Okay, yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, maybe we don't have to worry about it. Let's try to get this in there working. I was just concerned about it holding us back from trying to expand the game into something else.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
so I will let you know that the problem with the audio is still the same. So if you wanted to bring Twitch back up.
Actually, interesting thing. You hadn't complained about it for a while, so I opened it up real quick, and then you complained about it again. So
Oh,
I think it is the Twitch stream.
that's annoying.
It is annoying. Um, so maybe for next stream, I'll just grab another laptop
Oh,
and
there
leave
you go.
the stream. I would do it on my phone, but my old eyes can't really see the chat anyway on my phone.
Well, I mean,
So it wouldn't matter.
yeah, I mean, and it's not terrible. It was just, it's just enough that it's noticeable, right? So it's.
Mhm. Yeah, well,
If the chat gets busy, I'll let you know, and then we'll.
yeah, pop back in or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if we, one of the things that we had talked about was having different stores.
Mhm.
Probably should have that accounted for in some fashion. Do
Yes,
we?
don't right now.
Right. Would Well, maybe we can address it with just a single store. We'll just have it as store 1. And just make it so that everything's store 1 for right now versus...
Right, and then we'll build it out when we want to. When we need to. Okay.
The reason I was saying that because I was thinking like we'd almost need to have a relationship there, right? So we'd have to have a store, probably a store file, and then the items in the store. Because I imagine the stores we'd want to have some of its own properties, like a name, maybe some other kind of descriptor piece of information about it that
Right.
we wouldn't want to necessarily have to store inside the file for the items, the inventory.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. That is something. Yeah. We probably get sort of around it for now, though.
that's what I was thinking. I think we can get around it now. So I'm just going to do a text file here. We'll add in the sorry. Store. We'll do store inventory.
Okay.
All right. So this will be our first one. So we'll just do
See
start
that little
with-
CSV tool.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll do that in a second here. I was just thinking we can. This is the other project. Let's see if I can. Here we go. Get that open and then.
Are you getting sound coming in?
What do you mean?
Because you're talking in the next room, so I
Oh.
wasn't sure if it was hitting my mic or not.
I couldn't hear anything.
Okay,
So-
cool.
Oh, that's not what I meant to hit. Oh, I thought I clicked on the get icon thinking it was the thing for editing in CSV. That's funny. So we're gonna add It's not letting me add a column. That's funny. So let's start with a store ID. We'll need to have an inventory ID. Inventory type.
Right.
Price.
Right. It's probably a name, like the basic stuff too, right?
Well, isn't the name is taken from the game item,
Oh, right. Because the game item. Yes, that is true.
right? So then
Okay,
we'd have
cool.
starting price. Oh no, starting count.
Count. Yeah, like inventory.
Yeah, I know. I felt like that was too many inventories. That's why I was like, well, maybe I should switch this actually. Maybe this should be Maybe we should just make this ID, do store ID, and we don't need that one. And then we'll just have a type, and we'll just say, I like starting count, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I just had a thought, and so
Okay.
I'm going to just say it because I had a thought that we could actually have these stores as like store types,
Mhm.
and so maybe the starting inventory is a range instead of a set amount. So my thought being that the idea of taking just kind of saying, hey, we're going to have 5 as the starting, maybe it should be a min-max value and allows it to randomize the store. So you could actually kind of say, we have store here, and we say, okay, well, you're going to travel to some new area, and we're going to set up another minor store, and the minor store could be a different range to start from.
I see. That might be fun.
I thought it would be different. Like, it would be a way. I just don't know how we get to the different stores. Like, that was the part where I was like, well, that doesn't fit in what we're doing.
Well, I had pictured it being more like traders coming to town. Kind of like people coming to your location. Like,
And that would be a similar idea, right?
yeah,
They would come
well,
in.
it'd be identical code wise. I'm just saying, like the narrative was. I was thinking that's probably what it would be.
Right. So we could, if we did a min count and a max count,
Mm-hmm.
and if we wanted to start at a specific value, we just make them the same value.
Right,
So
right.
you know that
Because
first
then it'll
door.
just always come in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, you can have it always come in that way. And then we have game item ID. I think that's it. Let me open up. I don't want that. I don't want that. So we have a count and a price. And we just have a price.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I think that covers what we need. I guess I should. Let me just go to the store item and see. Nope. I think that's good. Sorry. Trying to. It doesn't show me which applications are running when Skype is doing its thing. So I'm like, wait, which one am I have running?
Oh, because like what's lit up or whatever down there.
Yeah, it doesn't light anything up. So, so we could do 1-1. I think we should have the type. We'll just do a name for it. So we'll say we'll just call it like buying. Oh, what was the? So we buy each chip for 10 tokens.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Well, it might have been set so that we could actually run up some money quickly, but you
I
know
know,
what I
for
mean?
some-
Like
for
we
some-
changed it around.
For some reason, I thought it was one. Are we not using that information to do the buying?
Oh.
We might not be. Just leave that as one. All right, so there we go. We'll say as a header. All right, good. Let's. So we don't actually. It doesn't even matter because this is our test file, right? So.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't want quotes for that.
Yeah, why did we do? I guess just you're thinking because it was literal.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I thought CSV quotes were supposed to be used around strings. See, I had it here. I don't know. Let's just change this to 1. We'll change this to 2 so we can see the value.
Okay, cool.
This actually, I think we made. So I want to make sure that we can tell that this is different from that. I just noticed that those were both the same, and I think if we're testing, when we write the test around this file, that
We're not going to know the difference. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Goodness. Spam callers.
Yeah.
My
All right,
phone's
so now
like blowing up.
What's that?
My phone's been like blowing up with like spam callers. I guess it has to do with stuff going on. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the stuff going on. All right, so let's get ourselves some repository test class going. So we'll add a test. Oh, that's not what I want. We'll just do a class. So this way we'll just do store inventory. Repository tests.
Get a little test-driven development going.
Yeah, I figure why not? What? Oh, I have it
Did
running.
you not pull it in you?
Nah, I just didn't stop. You know what? I use too many different frameworks all the time. Ah, so I don't need one. That's why.
Oh, you don't need it at all. Okay.
No, because we just need to put a fact on it, on this one. So
So this is X unit we're using for this.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. See, there we go. Now we're getting the X unit. I'm also going to add in our shouldly.
Should be. I like
Yeah.
this.
There's another one that I've been meaning to try out at some point because, hey, we're passing. It's another one that's like shouldly. I think they're calling it like just like fluent asserts or something like that. They looked very, very similar. I haven't had a chance to try it, so I don't know what its output looks like. I just know I like Shoodley's output during like failures and stuff. So we actually probably should follow the pattern that we were using in these other ones, right?
Right, because it's going to be a similar process of pulling the stuff out.
Yeah, so we're going to have a repository. Basically, we're going to create the same thing, but we're going to pass in the string to the file. Right, so
Okay.
I could basically copy this one. We'll just put this in here. This is what we're going to want. Come on. So in our constructor, so in XUnit, constructors are used as the startup. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's cool. Knocked over an empty cup.
Ah. Good thing.
That's why I knocked it. It's kind of why I knocked it over, because I was reaching for it, and I was like, there's nothing in there. I kind of changed my mind. Just kind of pawed at it.
That could have been bad news.
That's all right. Now I have check it out, dude. I use like a sippy cup.
What's that?
It's a Tervis tumbler, so it's like a sippy cup. It's got a lid, so I was good to go.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this right over here next to it, so we can kind of go through both these at the same time, right? This will end up being public. This is right now external. So in here we're going to take our file path. I should really look at the other one and make sure that we're keeping consistent, because it's been a while since I've...
The other repository?
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I want to make sure the naming's consistent, you know? Yep, so we do that. That looks good. I'm still not... I guess we're going with that as our thing. So it looks like we're basically just doing an...
Just pull it all out, huh?
Yeah. Well, we're doing... yeah, I think a lot of this is really similar, so I should probably take a look at what we did in the other test to see what makes sense in this test. Right, so this here is probably not a bad way to go. We'll start with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's pretty much how we're doing it. We're just kind of sucking the whole file in and working from there. So.
Yeah, this good, doesn't build at the moment. So this we actually want to do.
Yeah, it's going to be like your store item repo or something.
Yeah, we're only doing one repo, so I'm just going to name it.
Repository. There we go.
All right. What is called this? Store items.
All right, so
Do that. Do that. This will actually be. So the whole rest of this should probably be different.
well, what's that first type? Like, we probably still want to check the type, right? Or do we care?
Well, we don't. So keep in mind, this was for the rewards, right?
And there could be different types.
They could be different types of rewards. Maybe we should just get this. Let's just get the count working in it, right? So let's get it so it actually loads all the items from the file.
There you go. Yeah, we got a failing test. We can stop right there.
Yeah, so I think we can put this as a constant. That up here. We should change that value, so it should be 2. And so right now we don't have piece for this. So this is going to be a repository. Oh, nope. Come on.
What did that autocomplete it for you too soon?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's because...
keep sticking that on there.
Let me do that. Here we go. We can bring this in. Alright, and then this is going to return a store item. There we go. Now we need to implement it.
Because we didn't have a store item.
We did not have a store item. Oh no, well we didn't have the get all.
Okay.
So,
Right. So now, okay. So now that's good over there.
yeah. So this should do okay. Oh, we don't even have don't have link included. So now this should actually turn red. So I may need to save it.
Did
Oh.
it go?
Hold on.
What's that total number of items? It's
Oh, something's breaking here.
yeah, because that's
Oh,
red
you know
up
what? 'Cause
there.
I left this. So that was what it was.
Okay. We'll probably
And
turn
then
red now.
there we
It's
go.
turned
Now
red.
it's, thank goodness, because I'm like, this should really be red. Put this in here so it constructs it new. That's good. Yeah. So I expected this to be red because we should be getting an exception because it's not implemented.
Right. Because that's literally over on the other side there. You can see it's that throw.
Yeah. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure that's actually what was happening. Because it would be a bummer if I said it was supposed to be doing that and then it wasn't. There was actually a different exception that was going on. Nope, I wanted to go to the definition of that.
Did it get all?
Yeah, because, I mean, we already have all the logic here for this, right? Because we got this return get records. Oh, that's right, because we created a get records. But we'll just copy all that. We're going to cheat a lot.
Yeah. So we can illustrate to the kids why they should never do this.
Yeah, don't ever...
We're going to show you the evils of copy and paste.
Yeah, right. Let me show you how the professionals copy and paste.
Right? Don't try this at home unless you've been doing this like at least 10 years.
But keep in mind that we did at least have a test run to copy and paste. So the results of it will be identified in the test, right? So we are still failing. Right now we're still not building, so that's a whole different story. Because this is not what we want in any of these spots. We need this to be that. Store item. We don't even have that.
Do you not have link in there even? The select's blowing out.
I think the select is blowing out because... Oh yeah, I guess I don't. So I have it set up so that it basically puts in the minimum using headers.
That's great, so you don't have to go back and take them out.
Yeah, so that's the goal there. All right, so this is good.
Yeah, and we don't have like reward type isn't what we're working with, so that's what we gotta.
Yeah.
Gotta change the internals there.
I don't know if you noticed, but what we were actually loading was not a store item or a reward item. It was a reward record. And it's important to notice identify the difference, because if you look in what we were doing in the previous file, if I can get to it. So inside of here, we actually have a private class that we're using to identify that. So we can basically have the database store it a little bit differently so we can load it into the game the way that we want to. So we're gonna do something. We're gonna have to do something similar for this. And I sort of realized that when I was like, wait a minute, we have a bunch of properties that don't make sense on the current store item, and so we need to make sure that we address that. So let's do the minimum viable to get this up and working. So we'll just
give it like an ID or something.
Yeah, maybe we'll just grab the ID. Or price, maybe, or something along those lines. This might have been why we were holding off on this one. I don't know what the right answer is. Well,
Yeah, we're into it now.
yeah, we'll run into it later.
Got an hour and a half to figure it out.
We'll never figure it out. That's the problem. So we'll do a store item record. We'll add our ID and see if that works, right? Because then for each one of those, we don't even need that message because we're not doing it. But we would need to. Nope, not store inventory, store item. So we don't even have an ID on here. Should we? Is the ID of it really the game item? But if we have something, if we do end up having a buying and selling of the same game item, we wanted to have them independent.
Right, then it would need its own ID. It's like a contextual ID, really.
It is. It is. Maybe we should do price first. Do. So. What? Oh, so we didn't, in the test, we didn't address the file. So the file is the wrong one because I still left the basic rewards in there. So, doing.
All right. So now it's getting the right. Is that what's called? Store inventory?
Yeah.
Yes, there it is. Thank you.
But it's still failing. Huh, could not find it. Oh, so Visual Studio being what it is, this is not set to copy by default. So I'm gonna have to rebuild it to make sure that file gets copied over. Alright, so this should pass. Header with name price was not found. Header with price. Did we not call it price? We called it price.
Price.
It's got a space in front of it. So that was because when I first typed it in,
Look, they all got them.
Yeah, so everything that had, yeah, see. I do think it's funny that it messed it up on the ones I didn't already have a quote around.
All right.
All right, so we'll
Now
save that.
let's see some green now.
I have a feeling I need to redo this, otherwise it's going to be upset. All right, so yeah, let me apply and save. Make sure that still looks the same. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, good. So we got to rebuild this one as well. Count was not found. So this is a product of the CVS helper library. It's letting us know that the headers are missing. So we can actually do a thing in the configuration here, and we can say
so
Shoot, what did it say you could do? Header
Header
validated and all
validated.
that stuff. Why did I do a double equals? There we go. So
But
right now what we're doing is we're basically just saying we don't care what the headers are.
so why is it? What's it trying to validate them against?
It's validating it against the type, right? So we
Oh,
don't
okay.
have a count in here, so it's failing it. Oh, you know what? It's actually failing it because we weren't even using the record.
Oh, we're using the store item.
I noticed that the
Oh,
name was
there it
different.
goes.
Ooh, I wonder if that case would actually fix this for us then.
Maybe it will.
It did. Okay.
Okay.
So it was valid. It was the problem was is that it had a property that didn't have a header associated with it. So that was the part that was causing it to yell
Okay.
at us about. Cool. All right. So now we're getting a price. We should.
All right. So we got like the basic return. So we're getting
Yeah.
the count.
Yeah. I'm trying to. So we're gonna have an interesting problem with this as I was trying to think about the test that we need to write. So let's say load all fields. Load all fields.
You did not type all, by the way.
I didn't want all actually. Oh
Okay.
yeah. You know,
You said
what I
all.
say.
There you
Um. So the part here is we want to get this type out, right?
go.
The repository is returning the repository for store item, and store item is actually a it's almost like a primitive, right? So it's almost too low a level of an item because we're actually storing in here what store it belongs to. We're also storing whether it's a buying or selling item. And I'm not sure how we get that out from this, right? So we can get it. Let's do like take the first one, and so we can get it populating. But we're going to be missing some of the information, in a way to test it. Like with the rewards, we would be changing the type that was coming out, and so we could check that type. I'm not even sure when we go to load this into the store how we get those specific items, unless we want to make that part of this repository specifically.
Of how to get the different types of items.
Yeah, instead of there just being a get all,
Yeah.
it would actually be like a
So it's like the selling and buying, right? That's two different kinds of items.
yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be like get all selling, get all buying.
Yeah.
That might be reasonable. That might be a reasonable feature to have in this repository because of the way that the data is. That seems weird though.
It does, right? That's what I was feeling like. It's like it feels.
Like, is it really that special?
It almost makes me want to go back to that other style. The style I was mentioning at the beginning. I'm almost thinking if we go
Right.
that route and then just separate it as part of it, maybe we should do that.
Yeah, we could do that. Store them together and then use the game logic to parse out what we need to show and the
Yeah,
context and all that.
I feel like so we can do.
So that allows us to use like a standard repository pattern without having to get cutesy with it. Like it'll match everything else.
Yeah. Oh, how do I change the name of the column? How do I change the name? So I added a column and it just did that. You know what, how about this? I'm going to close that. I'm going to do selling price and buying price. So this is buying, so the selling price would be 0.
Right. And as far as the game item, like what you would do with it, we've already got that covered, right? So we don't have to worry about, like, if you're buying bolts, being able to use them, because once they get into your bag, then they become something different.
Yep. Yep. This is. Yeah, so then we don't need the type anymore, because the type is basically nada.
Yeah, there's no type. It's just a store item.
Yeah. Why did it put quotes around all of these values?
Yes.
Oh, I know why. I know why. So it did it because of the space. All right, this should have quotes around it. This should not.
Because of the space.
Yeah, I had it. So I think there is. Maybe it's in the specification for CSV. I don't know. But there can't be spaces between the values. Right. So now if I do an edit on this, like, it should still be okay. If I actually do apply and save, it should still. Now put quotes around everything. Is it based on the header? Is that what it's doing?
You think it follows suit with, like?
Well, I added the quotes to the.
Why don't you do like the first two just to see, instead of doing them all?
Yeah, but I kind of already did that. That's why I was.
Okay.
Save.
It worked though.
You know what? Wait a minute. Let me try one more thing here. Let's put these quotes here. Oop. And let me save that. And when I come in here with this tool, and let me change this so that there's a header. All right. And yeah, see, quote all fields is turned off. So now we do apply and save on here. Yeah, see, I think it's trying to keep the column consistent. So if the header is a string, then the entire column is a string.
Okay, so if we took the quotes off the top, that would come off.
Yeah. This is silly. It's. I guess we didn't run into it in the previous stuff. That's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird. Can you just take it off the top ones, and then it'll correct it?
Oh.
Might, right?
Mm. Oh,
It
it
did?
did.
Yay!
Small miracles, small miracles. All right, good. So now, yeah. So now I think that we're in a better spot. We're gonna have to change the store item, so the store item will have a selling price and a buying price. But that's, I think that's pretty inconsequential.
Yeah, that's okay. We can put that in there.
Yeah, I think so. For right now, we'll change this as to a. That should, and that's green. All right, good.
All right, cool. So everything's passing.
Yep.
So far.
Ship it,
Yep, ready to go.
and we'll get. I want to get the other stuff in here because we can actually see that these are succeeding in the load because
So you can put the rest of the columns in. So we're saying fill
yeah,
those in.
yeah. So exactly.
All right, cool.
Um. Oh, look at that. Now it's happy. Yeah, so now we're getting that store item record. This we can. What?
I was reading a comment actually
Oh.
about us. That's all.
Uh-oh.
It's all right.
It can't be good.
It's all right.
So let's just we'll do min count. I'm hesitant to change all the code on this because this is going to change.
You worried you're going to break the game?
Yeah, I'm worried I'm going to break the game. Maybe we should add it in here. I'll just. And because we have this min count.
Right.
I don't really want to have. I feel like I don't want to have.
Is this supposed to be a store item or a store item record?
No, this is supposed to be a store item.
So this is the real item.
Yeah. This is the real item. That's why I feel like this is changing a lot of the game and the game logic. That makes it.
Yeah, but it's because it was kind of wrong.
I know. So I think maybe we'll just build it out like we're gonna do that, right? So we'll put in max count. And then we need. This has one other thing that's potentially an issue, is that game item. It doesn't have a game item ID on it. It actually has the game item like we had in those other places, right?
Like the actual object on it.
Yeah. What did we do with those? Because I think.
Let's pop them open. I don't know.
Because reward was the one that we really did it for, right? So this here.
Yeah, because the reward was actually putting us like the store item in. Remember? Because it was So that has the ID.
Yeah, we switched it to the ID because there was a benefit here. It gave us a benefit to the because we could. So the game reward doesn't get like used until it's ready to take that game item and pass it on to someplace else, right? And there was a benefit here for it. Part of the thing I'm concerned about for our store item is that we don't have it built into the object. So I think if we were to do it, well, I think maybe we just keep the game ID there, and we'll deal with how we deal with loading it after the fact, because I think where we want to focus on that, like this is what we're going to try to replace first, right? With that, and I think we could do it as part of this process.
Right, because this is the hard coding that we had, and so this is what we need to get rid of.
This was the bad stuff.
Yeah, so if we can leverage this out, that's a win, and that'll give us some breathing room to do maybe some of the other stuff we wanted to do. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, do I have a? Nope. I guess I'll just cut it. So let me cut this. What? Cut. I don't know why it gave me an error the first time. So this goes in here. So let me paste this. And then I just got to do a sync namespaces. That should fix that. Is our test still broken though? What was in here that we didn't save? Oh.
Nope.
Oh. Bad me. Alright. So I'll just copy that. Close this. Say don't save. Because I've... Oh, it should have been moved. That's weird. I'll just replace this file. Save that one, and we will delete this. This was the temporary one I created in the test project.
Okay. So now we got it for real.
Yeah, so now I gotta update that to the right spot. Alright. Oh, why are there all these extra spaces at the bottom? Because I couldn't see. Apparently I was scrolled over to the left a little bit there. So we need to now add these into the store item. So we'll declare those. Oh, why did it want to do it as a constant?
Yeah, that was weird, huh?
Yeah, I did not expect that. Let's see. That's what I expected. Oh.
Oh. I wanted to do that as a constant.
Yeah.
That's weird. I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah. Me three.
Yeah, well, that's why it's so much fun.
Well, these are tools. They're not. It's not actual Visual Studio that's trying to do it. We're using Code Rushed, which in general I have very, very much liked.
Yeah, you've talked very, very well of them. Well, I would, using that over ReSharper at this point, so
Yeah,
it's
way.
something.
Oh yeah, it's way lighter weight. But I am using. Shoot, what's the name of it? NCrunch for the testing framework, because it does the
That's
auto
what runs it. Yeah. I remember we went through that. If you go to our YouTube page, you can see us talk about it at length back in October. We put it in there.
Yeah, right.
Because it was. No, it's cool though. It was pretty cool. This when we started to do this stuff, and you wanted to have that running.
Yeah. So now that we've got that in there, we should actually. So we're now seeing that we're getting greens, which are good. These are nice and bright greens. That means they're actually executing. Yeah, I mean, this is another part that I like about it, is like you can come over here and as you hover over it, you're actually seeing that it's covering two tests, or two tests are covering this line of code that are executing it and how they pass and the time. So it's pretty beneficial.
I agree.
All right, so we've got these store items there. So now we should be able to test these for the values, right? So we should be able to actually say, that the ID. This should be. Now I forgot what it's supposed to be. I think 12. Or no, 0. So this one's 0. Because it's the first item. And the first one is buying, so this is buying at 10.
Yeah, it was like 10 and 20 it did, right? Or something like that.
Right. What's the other properties on here? Oh yeah, min.
Yes.
X count. Capsule key got stuck on. So these are the values that we're testing for. I think that's
coming back clean.
yeah, it's good. There's think this will be sufficient. That
So what else do we want to see?
I
Is that
know.
all we're doing is sucking it out of there? I feel like that might be sufficient for those operations that we want to replace.
Yeah.
Go look at the code that's running the hard coded stuff again. I want to get a sense of what that is. Was in like the builder or something, factory? There it is.
Yeah.
So it's just building a list.
Yeah. And I think
And then that's the item, right? The actual item.
yeah.
It's
So
known that gateway game items.
yeah, that's why I was thinking like if we were to take in so we have our here's what we need to do is we need to build our data gateway, right? So this will be this now we want to be able to take in the
Yeah, the store
yeah.
stuff, store item. It wasn't the reward though.
No, it's just not in the thing. It tried to rename it. There we go. Why would you do that to me?
The aggressive intelligence.
Yeah, it was like that's not what I was trying to do. All right, so this I did this wrong. So this actually should be the same as these up here. These are going to be public. Now,
This supposed to be read only?
yeah. Well, it won't be read only. Yeah. When it was private, it should be. So we can just do this as store.
Okay.
All right. So then we'll rename that. This. It's funny because that was get rid of this and it was that. So.
All right, so that is put together.
Yeah. So where? Let's find. This actually should fail to build. So we change the constructor here.
Yeah, there it is.
Good.
So we're going to pass that in as well.
Oop.
Store. Is it inventory or items? Inventory repo?
Yeah, I called it inventory.
Yeah, store inventory repository. Yeah.
I know. I'm debating on whether I should rename it.
Leave it for now, dude. Renames are so easy with the tools.
Well, it helps when you type. That really?
You spelled wrong somewhere else. Do you not have it?
It should be in the same spot as these other ones. That's why I'm.
Maybe the namespace didn't come over right. Yeah.
Let's see, it's the same namespace. Oh. I must have mistyped something.
Yeah, you
I
spelled it
copied.
wrong somewhere, huh?
Yeah, I copied and pasted it, and it seemed to be good. We'll just call it story. Tory. Oh, why do we do this? This is weird.
What's that? Oh, through the game state on there?
Yeah, into the achievements repository.
I feel like why did we do that? There was a reason though. It wasn't arbitrary.
I know. I actually want to take a look in there.
Because we had to, because we needed it for something in here, right?
Oh, because there's a thing that we're outputting. Because inventory, the achievements took it. So this was something we were going to pull out at some point. It's right now it's just a temporary fix because this is mixing abstractions.
Yeah.
So that's why that's concerning.
I think we were talking about being able to like flip that over at some point.
Yeah. So what I want to do is achievements, deposit, fix game state abstraction. That way we won't forget about it. All right. So that was good. There's one other spot, and it's going to be in the testing area. So we can actually just pass in a null for right now because I don't think we don't have anything that's using this as part of the tests. So,
All
all right. So it's running. So now we should be able to actually try taking a look at dealing with it here in the mining store factory, right? So we could. So we're doing it the gateway there, but I think we could actually now do get all the store items, and we can get that from the gateway.
Mm-hmm.
So do store items.
Get all cool.
Right. So then I think we should be.
So do we? And we're still going to add them to the state. Like that has to happen, right?
Oh yeah, definitely does. But see, now that we've got the items, we can now make we can ascertain how we want it to actually happen. This is an interesting thing, though. It's pretty cool, though, right? So we got these red marks now. Because we're passing in a null in the test, we may need this. We may need to actually pass a. We may need to pass a real mark into that. I guess we should get that green first. So.
All right. So that's a null reference problem.
Yeah, it's because the gateway here that we're building in this process here is incomplete, right? And so we do it for this one.
You just need to fix the mocks. I gotcha.
Yeah, so I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna actually have to create a mock class for it that will have the Mac. We're gonna create a Mac version of this one. Yeah, okay. Wait, I'm doing that wrong. This is going to be of the store item. Then we can have it. Implement it. Whop. I think for right now we'll just do it as
It's an
empty.
empty list. Yeah, because just to get rid of that null error.
Well, I suspect we're going to get a different error.
Okay. Why's that guy red? And it's still store related, huh?
It is.
Okay.
Let me see if we need to rebuild it. No, that shouldn't have given us an issue. Okay, so it's building okay, but our tests are failing. Oh, because of this here. Object reference not set to the instance of an object.
Which one?
Build mine store.
So miner store factory? So is the gate?
Yeah. Oh, did we not? Maybe we didn't use it. I think we didn't use it. So I created this here, but we didn't. We still were passing in the null.
Oh,
So this should have been. I should have passed in the actual.
okay. And that went green.
Yeah. So that caused everything to go
Okay,
green.
okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pin this test. I don't care about that. I'm gonna pin this where we're working, right? So we're working inside of here. So my thought is that we can take this and we can now do we can for each over it, right? And then we can build these up as we wanted to. So
Right, just go through the store items then. So we're going to iterate through the store items and just pretty much just keep doing that for each one, right?
yeah. So we can do this two ways. Let's do it this way first. So now we can basically based on where we have a price, right? So we can say, actually, I think there's a way to do it now with in C#, right? Because what we actually want is we're testing zeros.
Hmm.
I think we may just need to do this with an if statement. I was gonna say we can. Right, so if buying price is 0,
Mhm.
then we're going to add it to the items for sale.
Oh, there's probably like a link solution that you could do there in some manner or another.
So that's what I was gonna suggest, right? So I'm gonna do it one way here, right? So we're gonna do it like this, and
That's sort of the illustrative way to do it, I think, John. It's sort of the old school way.
yeah, I think that's kind of what I was kind of going for, right? So now we can say this is going to be equal to the item's selling price.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can say the count is equal to.
Remember when you couldn't even do this? You had to like create it, dot them in.
That was like 15 years ago. When they
Was it
added
that long ago? I think, yeah, because that was like the first like generics at all, right?
Well, it's more about the fact that we're able to do this this constructor inside of here. I thought it was Visual Studio 2005, which may have actually been 2006, because I think I remember them always being like a year behind.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah. So now we can go into here. Now we can go to the gateway. So now we can go to the gateway, and then we can get the game item. And I'll just do the first.
Yeah, so you would have to nest a loop in there if you didn't want to do it that way.
Oh, I know. Linked is good for this stuff, right?
Yeah. Just saying, if we were doing it all old school,
right?
You'd have another nested loop. Find it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question. So I'm wondering, should we? Do I even need to check this, or can I just do an else to make the assumption?
You can do an else now.
Would we have a case that the selling price and buying price would be 0 that we need to account for?
I can't
think of one.
Yeah, there's not a use case right now.
Yeah.
That is a failing test for the future. If we end up putting it in.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what that would be. What would be 0, 0, right?
Yeah, I mean. So now we've got. So this would construct it, right? This should give us the same result as this.
But probably comment that out or something if that's what you were gonna test it.
Yeah, part of me was thinking about the fact that we don't have a file, so we couldn't test the game just yet. We can Why did it?
What's store out of scope or something now?
Oh no, because it's coming out.
Oh,
I climbed one too far.
right, because that's the whole store it's creating. Okay.
Yeah. So
Went green. I mean, so the tests against it passed.
that is shocking.
Well, that stuff that we just changed, actually, it looks like it's unexercised.
It is
Right.
definitely unexercised. That's why it's white. No covering
Yeah.
tests. What I'm surprised by, though, is so the buy command item is available in the shop to complete the purchase. I'm surprised that this is working. We have no items.
What are the IDs on the test data? Are they just matching an
It's
item?
empty. Let's take a look at this test. This sounds like it might have been a bad test.
Yeah, how could that be passing? Unless we're just building it. Are you building it up somewhere in the test here? Where it's not touching that stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank goodness. Because I was like, wait, how did that happen? How do we end up with? Yeah, so we hijacked the guts of the system to be able to support this test. Part of me, I tell you, is a little nervous about this. That this is how we did it. I'm wondering if this should be different. This might be another item for another task. What's this? Buy command test. Let's say buy command tests update to not use internal logic. So it's because the problem is it's using that internal game state. Let's say instead of internal logic, internal game state. I feel like there should be a way for us to update that information, and that's how we do it. That goes through the actual processing of the system versus kind of hijacking it and putting it in underneath.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, because we're just kind of shoehorning that in to get the rest of it to pass.
Yeah.
Or the rest of it to work.
Yep. Which, I mean, it makes sense. That's why it was, at least it explains why this was passing. Because I'm like, looking at this, I'm like, going, we're not getting any items in here. Why is this doing the thing that it should be doing?
Right. Because we couldn't do it any other way before. Because it was
Yep.
hard-coded right in that piece. So, that said, we should be able to fail this test.
We should be able to fail a test. I expected us to fail a test, actually. So... well, that would explain why this... So what are we testing with the minor store factory? We're testing the build of the factory? That the factory is outputting a valid...
Like a factory?
Yeah, it's interesting that the factory then goes directly and updates the store state. I think we found a way that we're doing this that may be problematic in like long-term testing, right? Because we can do this because it'll build the store and it looks like it returns it, right? But it also updates the game state.
Yeah, like right on the end.
Yeah, which I can't completely disagree the intention, but we don't need the game state for anything except that.
Right, so it could almost just do that. Whatever calls it could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only place the game state gets used in this whole thing?
Let's do a find all references. Oh,
No, it's
so it's part of the
gets passed along.
yeah. This comes back to that. I think this might be that the problem where we have it talking to our primary object in all these different spots versus issuing commands or requests, like doing it through messaging versus giving it direct access to state. So I think
So that's sort of got to stay in.
for the moment, I think what we can do is add a factory test now, right? So I think we can do a mine store. It's called miner store though, right? Miner store.
It is.
Let's have it return nothing. Good. Well, Shoodley and Shoodley Woodley.
Coodly.
Yeah, Shoodley Woodley Coodley. See, a missed opportunity. So we're gonna want to. I guess we're gonna want to new it up. So this is probably gonna end up being very similar to what's happening in the buy command tests, right? For our setup. I believe we'll need. I believe we need all this. I don't know if we actually need all of it, but I think we're gonna have to start.
All right.
All right, so I'll bring in that. I'll bring that. I'll bring this. No, I don't want to install a package. Package.liquid.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Dot liquid. What?
Yeah, I don't know what the heck that would be. So we'll just declare a field for it. Declare a field for this one. And then, all right, so, oh, this is kind of weird. Yeah.
So that's a null?
Yeah, well, because we're not building it out, right? So I think it's okay, but I think what we really want to see, I don't think we need that whole game state like that. Oh, that's why it was doing it, because it has this on here. This is actually what we're going to be, that's what's going to be under test.
That build mine store, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to want to have this as
Factory.
yeah, we're going to want to put this up into the field. And then so then here we can now, each time we can actually we can do a new test on this, right? So we're going to get build mine store. not be empty.
Okay.
But this will be empty.
Oh, good.
So let's do that. Let's get this working, I guess, first. And this is actually going to be more about the what we're setting up as our defaults for our tests, right? So let's see.
Trying to think of a name.
Yeah, I was gonna say new miner store should have items it buys. All right. So, and then this is failing, and this is failing because in our mock process here, we don't have any data, right? So we were returning this 0 item list.
So we got to give it something to kick back.
Yeah, so we're gonna need to give it something to kick back. That's right. So it's store item. So we actually need to set a buying price. That buying price will be, we'll just say 20. I'll give it a game ID of, well, let's look at what we had down here. Chip. So we'll do 4.
Okay.
And I think the rest of it can be empty. Hey, we got a green.
Gotta love green. All right, so cool.
Yeah. Why is it not? It's weird that it didn't fix that.
So that's I'm sorry. What's that?
No, I think there's something broke my configuration.
So that's testing that the factory will build the items buying part correctly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll do. So it should have items it sells.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now that fails, as it should.
Right.
Because we don't have any items for sale, so we should be able to do at that. All right, so that should give us a green. All right, awesome.
So now
we know that that's working.
So if it gets the data, it should load the store. That's what we were testing.
That is what we were testing.
So it's gameplay now?
Well, yeah. So we have to add the... Shoot. Let me undo
that. We got to put them in the data.
yeah, we got to get the initial data in here, right? So get... Yep, so just do a new item. We'll do that. It's text file, not test. And then we'll do store. All right, so we'll take this one, copy that, put it into this one.
I gotta get all the other stuff.
Yeah, let's put this next to here, so then I can get all this, right? So, say the first one, selling price is 20, buying price is 0. We start with 5.
What's that last one? Is it the ID? The item
yeah,
ID?
That's the ID. Let me just scroll this over. And 1. All right, so it's 1,
1, 2, 3. Nice.
that'll be convenient. If I can type it in properly. Alright, so this was 3, this was 2,
Right.
this was 5, and 500. And then the last one...
10.
Oh, wait a minute, that's
Oh, wait,
chips.
that's, yeah.
Oh, so that's right, because we only start with bolts and a standard digger, right? So
Right. And then buying chips.
right, yeah. So then we're buying chips. So then this would be 0. Even though these IDs are not getting loaded, I'm just going to make sure that they're unique. Make that 10. And then 0, 0. And then I believe chips are actually 4 now. Let's look at game items. Game item 4 chips. Ooh, or raw chips.
Raw chips. That's right.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What are the other chips?
Well, we were talking about having like salted chips or barbecue chips, or like having at some point a way that you could process what comes out of the diggers before you take it to the store.
I gotcha.
Possibly build like other machinery they might need to run and repair and so forth.
Yes. Okay. So that built okay. I have this weird feeling it's gonna fail on our first run, but it wouldn't be Pete's House of Code without it not working.
Well, I don't know. So far, so good.
Yeah. So it didn't fail.
So here's the store, and it's got an inventory.
It's got all this stuff.
Yeah. So get some diggers because we got to see if it'll sell. Like if we can sell to it.
All right. So now I should be able to go to the control room and do equip. Pete. Sam.
Scarce. Rich. Oh yeah.
We'll do a bill. Equip.
You got 2 riches in there.
Oh, that's pretty good. So let's see. We got diggers.
Oh, 0 hopper space. Jim.
All right.
Like,
so now I've got chips.
All right.
So then I should be able to go back to the store and then sell
chips. Uh-oh. I think it used to be sell chips. Oh. Chip. Okay.
Sell
we really have to fix that.
Sell chip. But now I'm extra confused.
And it's a 1-to-1?
See, I've always thought it was 1-to-1. That's why I thought it was weird that that was saying 10.
So we must not... Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So something is not using that value correctly.
Yeah, so let's look at that, right? Because that's in the sell command. So our sell command...
It's probably in the store... Oh, there you go. Sell command.
Yeah, so... So we're coming in here. Ooh, isn't that weird? You know what I see in here? I see a bunch of white dots.
Mm-hmm.
Which means we're not running, there's no test covering this.
Mm-hmm.
Probably shouldn't change it until we run some tests around it. Let's see what it's doing. I just wanted to put a breakpoint in there so I can try to. I'm gonna get some more chips because holy cow! Everybody needs repairs. All right, so I can empty Bill. I'll leave Allison so we can come back to it. Hey, we achieved chips. All right. Sell chip. Not sell ship. Sell chip. All right, so the item coming in is chip. Okay. I go. Price is 1.
Why is the price 1?
So the name is raw chips. So why didn't raw chips work when I tried to sell it?
Case sensitivity, maybe?
This is some interesting logic that's going on here. Do you see what this statement says? It says if the thing has the items that we're trying to sell, that it's buying back those items, then use the price. Otherwise, assume it's 1.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Maybe that was just so because maybe that was to avoid having to put like chips in the beginning. So it's just one thing to sell.
Yeah, but then why isn't it working? Right? I mean, so let me try this again, right? So we'll let this go and we'll come back. I can go and get some more chips. So I can empty Allison. Go back to the store. I should be able to do sell raw chips, not chips.
So try using a capital R and a capital C.
So you see, so the message is where the interesting part is, right? So it's saying we don't have any raw chips to sell.
Right.
So that means that when we emptied the hopper, what it gave us was a made up item, not a real item. Right? So
right, like a hard coded item.
It must be, because it's checking my inventory, right? So if let's do this. Like let's
see what happens with the empty for that matter.
Yeah, so well, yeah. What? I can't just do up. So in here, so we don't have a value. And this is where item is coming back null because that item doesn't exist in the inventory for the miner. So if we were to look at this guy's inventory items, he has chip.
Mm-hmm.
So so unfortunately, oh, sorry, I could empty some more. So I should be able to go to. Let me put a breakpoint in the empty command. And let's see what happens when we get in here. Because, put too high. Let's see. So I can empty Allison. So we go to the game state. We're going to get the digger.
Mm-hmm.
We have a digger. That's good. Oh. Yes, we are hard coding the chip, huh? So and this is so here's an interesting problem, because we're not well, first it's not dynamic, right? So we're kind of just going, hey, get me the inventory item that you have for the miner for chip. Now we get the chips. Then to update it, we actually just change that value versus telling the miner inventory, hey, you just received more of something and should just add it to its own inventory. I think this is another spot for some improvement. And let's see, empty command. So let's put it there. Empty command should use dynamic. I'm gonna say dynamic type.
Yeah, and really, you might want to define what kind of item goes into the hopper.
So
Instead of just saying, hey, this is the name of it, like we might actually define this is like a chip hopper in case we start digging other stuff.
yeah, I was that, and also I was thinking that a part of the definition for um the digger is actually going to be like, what do you have in your hopper? So maybe it is a single hopper, but we just want to say we have so many of this type of thing in the hopper. Which I think what we're doing here is just assuming, right? So we're just doing digger empty, and it tells us back what that hopper count is. So instead
Right.
of this being a hopper count, it should actually be an item with a count, right?
Right. It should be the hopper, which has accounted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So miner should have command to add to inventory. Let's do that. Yeah, so this is why, because this is hard coded in here. So I say let's just keep it. Let's kick it down the road. So let's name it what we have in our data files.
Right. So it'll work. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not really fixed.
It's definitely not fixed. That. Oh, why is this upset? Bigger name that doesn't exist is invalid. Are we doing something that should have changed that?
Stuff breaking all over the place.
Yeah, right?
What did you do, man?
Oh, because the messages could not find chips in the inventory because the command was an empty command. So this is a 4 instead of a 3.
Okay.
It's not good to have that hard coded there either.
No, sir. Yes, we got some fixing to do.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to fix that. I feel like this is being added to fix a problem of how we actually process that, and I think this we'd be able to address in that previous ticket. The previous item I just added, right? Because we were, if when we wanted to add items to a miner's inventory, we just said add to miner inventory, and we gave it the thing and an amount. It should then internally be able to do its own thing with it, right? So this should never have needed to be here so that we could add to the count, which is what the purpose of this is. Right, so if I comment this out, like, all sorts of hell should break loose.
Because it needs to be there.
Right. And it's primarily in this one. That's interesting that this is the one that it doesn't like. I'm still surprised that this is failing. It's interesting. You know what?
Maybe raw chips is not doing what we think it's doing.
No, it's doing what we think. Here's the part that's weird, right? So we're loading it before we actually do the test.
Oh.
So just by moving this, I passed. Because it doesn't actually even get to the point of talking about chips. Because all that test was for was to test this logic.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it was failing because this happened to be up here before we did our test on that. Yeah, so this should fix it. This should put it into the miner. The miner has the right one. So this should conceivably get it working. Not excited about how we did it, but
Now, is that going to work properly in the game then? I guess it
That's-
will.
or not,
Mm-hmm.
because we called it chips here because we hard code that value.
Right, it's called chips all over.
We should probably take a look and see
This
where
is
we're.
like this is the heads up display, right?
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's look for chip. All right, so here's another one. So this should actually be raw chips.
Is it raw chips or chip?
I was pretty sure it was with an S. But now that you're asking me, yeah, it's with an S. So now the question is, what is number 4 used for?
Maybe it is not.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's an appendix.
Yeah, probably just orphaned it. We probably started thinking about different kind of chips, added raw chips, and then just never backtracked.
Yeah, raw chips were first in the list, so. What broke now? Ah. So. Is this? Did we get rid of that in the miner? I thought we didn't. I thought I didn't do that. Oh, I did. I guess we're gonna need to leave this in here for now. There's a lot to change to get this working today.
Yeah, we only got like 10 minutes left here, so something more to do next time around or whatever. I guess next week. Next Wednesday.
Let's see. Yes, John. No. Store. 5 standard. All right, control room. Ooh.
Typo.
Equip. Sam. Equip. Bill.
Oh yeah, look at these two. There's a. Who's that? That's me. I'm the winner this time, man.
Yep. And equip a gym. All right, so let's see. We're gonna empty a bill. Oh no, DP.
All right, so here we are.
All right, so it says vault chips 30. Good. So now we should be able to go back to the store. We should be able to sell raw chips. See if this worked. So this should now give us a price of 30. Still gave us a
Still
price
one.
of 1.
Ah, What happened there? Let's see if we got the price. Oh,
Oh, why didn't it? It didn't
price
lower
said
it.
10. Price says 30. Oh no. That's the quantity. I'm sorry. On chips.
So it's failing because,
Case sensitivity.
yeah.
I should probably just do that with like an equals.
Well, I mean, realistically, now we should be able to just do.
Yes, item ID. And that gets rid of that whole mess.
Yeah.
Bada bing. And then there's a, yeah, there too.
Yeah, so that actually should resolve that for us.
So now it should come out.
Yeah. Feels like that should break some tests too.
I don't know.
Well, something should be broken. Alright, so we're gonna buy. Oh, it's like Allison won this one. Alright, so now we should have our chipes. So now we should be able to go to the store, and now we should be able to sell raw chips. And get it at a price of 30? Of 10, that's right.
Yeah, not one. Yeah, the quantity's 30.
Yeah. So now, so now we got 300. Oh man, we're gonna get so many tokens based on that. if a chip is gonna sell for 10
For
tokens.
10. Yeah, 10 to 1.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to definitely change the price of that. Holy smokes. One almost makes sense. That's probably why it just never even, like,
Yeah, it never made a difference.
yeah. Mm,
5 minutes, man. We should probably
yeah.
check on our code soon. All right.
Yep. Let's see. All right, and we got the large hopper showed up, so I think that's looking pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's nice. So now we've actually got the store based on data files, so we can be able to move forward with that, adding new stuff to the game.
Yeah, next thing we got to tackle is all that hard coding all over the place, though.
Yeah.
So, like, all those commands have a bunch of different stuff hard coded in them. Really, the way the commands work, we need to give that some love because it's pretty annoying.
Oh, you mean with the name, like the pluralization and stuff?
Yeah, just a little stuff like that.
Yep. All right, so I moved those files around. That's why that's happening. We changed chips to chip. We used item IDs instead of names, which is much better. We added the data gateway. We added this. This is good. We can do more with this. We just haven't done it yet. Oh yeah, so this is now loading from the file. That's why all this stuff is.
That's all the hard
Oh,
coding.
but
It's in red.
I left that stuff in.
The comment's still in. goes the way all comments should go.
Oh, except there we go.
But not all curly braces.
Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Alright, so that should fix that one. That was right. This diff is weird, but we could do that another way, which we could talk about at some point. This was changing it so that's raw chip is the starting inventory. 60 raw chips. New store inventory. Repository. Updated the console. The HUD for the name.
There's the inventory CSV
Oh,
file.
yeah.
Tests.
And we mark that out. Then we get this. Then we have our test file and our test repository. Or repository test file. Alright, good. Oh, shoot. Unstage that. I did not create a new branch for the episode. 2020 401. Is that how I name these? Yeah. Okay, good. Now I can try this. Alright. Added store inventory data file. Cool. Push that up. So now we'll have that up there on the code. And
Very good.
yeah, I think we're good. All our tests are passing. Even though they're incomplete, they're passing.
Yeah, I guess that's a wrap for this week. We have a playable game and passing tests. It's better than we finished some.
That is true.
So hang on, I want to do it in a minute.
Yeah, me too. That's what I just did. That's why I was like, hey, I want to do something. It is
You
pretty
did a
neat.
bunch of them.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
We'll have a an impressive chatbot by 2050.
Oh, there we go. Both got them that time.
That's the neat part about them all going at the same time. You can have a whole bunch of them happen.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, man.
Great.
So I guess that's the end of this week's stream.
That is. Thanks everyone for watching.
Good night, everybody.